Hi, my name is Jean, and this is my channel, Learn with Jean. In today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about learner personas, show you what a learner persona looks like, and talk to you about how I developed this, why it's important, and why it may benefit you if you're not already developing one for your online course. And so if you're familiar with the term persona, a lot of it is derived from UX research and UX design, where it's really about informing designers about who they're building for, their target audience. But this time we're really focusing and emphasizing understanding the needs of our learners and what kind of learning experience they're looking for and what kind of learning experiences they've had so that we can build something that really sets us apart. The whole idea about why I use learner personas in the work that I do and why I kind of teach this is because I think it really will help you deliver and build a product that really sets you apart and leaves students coming back for more. Oftentimes students come back, when they come back for more, it's because they've had a really positive learning experience. Rather than just buying a one-time course from you, they become repeat buyers and repeat customers, allowing you to grow your business and serve them in more ways than one. And so it's really impactful and really beautiful because it allows you to grow your relationship, nurture your relationship for the long term rather than just a one-time transaction. And then in the long run, it really benefits you from a business lens because you don't have to market and find new customers. You can just trust that current customers come back for more. And so the idea really with this is I want to really take the time to build a profile of who my potential learners are, because this will help me understand what needs to go in my online course design process. And so this is something that not a lot of people use, but this is something that I feel like is really necessary and really helpful. And so this is sort of the end result. I'm building, like, in some people say like client avatar, but I'm focusing really on the learning aspect. So I want to understand what are their learning needs, how savvy they are with technology, what kind of social media platforms they're on, because all this will help me understand and help me design a learning experience that is much more targeted, much more tailored, and much more transformational. If I didn't do this, what I see oftentimes is that people just sell a really high ticket course, which is fine, but they sell a high ticket course for $500 or more. And they're all hour-long videos, and they don't really take the time to understand that our students and our learners have short attention spans. Their phones are buzzing, their social media notifications, and they're just busy. And so what happens is they just, build these Google Docs and they record Looms hour long, and then they just stick it in their online course, load it into their LMS, and they're selling it. And the copy is great. I think that's what really attracts me to courses is the copy. But then when I get into the course and I'm like, it's an hour long video and I'm sitting here listening to you point and click and talk, and I'm kind of lost. And so with that said, I think it's really important to take this time to really develop the persona and understand what you want to build for. What do they want? What do they need? And what can you build that can really leave a lasting impression and a lasting impact? So you might ask me, so Jean, how do I get to my final learner persona? I'm not a UX designer, I'm not a UX researcher, and this is all stuff that I've kind of learned over the years by being around a lot of coders and a lot of UX designers and UX researchers, and it's been really fun. And I've seen the way that this really makes a difference in how I approach working with clients as well. And it helps us both kind of understand what our students need, what our learners need, and really what can really make a difference in the online learning experience. So you might want to ask me, like, well, how do I get here? What's the first step? And so it's really kind of like a very not like a formal, like say you could, it's more like an informal like questionnaire and needs analysis. What I want to know is how tech savvy they are. Can you describe their motivations? What are, top of mind concerns for them around online learning? What are they frustrated by when it comes to online learning? What kind of previous experiences they've had with online learning? What gets them excited? What kind of online learning experiences have they had that have really made an impression on them? And so all this then is to help inform me so I can see, like, okay, so they know they've had online learning experiences using Blackboard and they've used Canva, but it's mostly been very dry PowerPoints and they're really bored because they're just listening to someone talk, and it's just a very long train of thought, and it's not very organized. It seems kind of messy. And so I know that then my students and learners really need something a little bit more intentional, a little bit more customized. And so that might be if I know they're very Instagram savvy and more Instagram and Snapchat people, that they like, kind of viral videos. They like a lot of visual imagery. They like games, especially if I think about what their age group is. All this helps inform then what I build in my learner persona. So I take this as an example of a recent project that I've worked on to kind of show you how this learner persona then translate into the actual course design. And so, as I've said to you, this is some example. They're tech savvy, they're, college students, they've had a lot of online learning experiences, and they've also had in-person learning experiences. And what I'm going to do is translate all this sort of data and analysis and feedback into crafting a persona. Now, the persona does take time to develop, and these are just ways that you can start to think about it. And so the first thing I want to do is just have an image, because it really is nice to have a visual image when I'm designing a course experience, to know who I'm designing for and what that looks like. So I'll just create a generic image so I know I'm designing for Jane. And then after I create my visual imagery, I want to write down and note all the characteristics and traits about Jane that will inform my final process. And so I know that Jane is very passionate, very socially minded, very social justice. They're concerned about current political climate. Their age group is like typical college, very traditional college of 18 to 21 versus a non-traditional college student. And this will be their first year, or second year, what they call in college, first to second year. And then they are in Canada, and what they're frustrated by is long PowerPoint slides. They feel like they need lessons that really sync together and really connect the dots and really show the journey from one lesson to another. And they really want to gain the knowledge and skills from this online learning experience so that they can translate this into their role as student leaders. And so now that I've put together in a very brief description this persona, how does this translate into the actual course design? So now that I know this about my students and potential learners, what I'm going to do then in my design is focus on a couple key elements for interactivity and visual imagery, because I know that they like visual images and they're very much on social media such as Instagram and Snapchat. And so they like viral videos. And so that's going to inform what I put into the course rather than just PowerPoint and or screencasts, which is maybe like voiceover slides. I'm going to put in games such as a virtual escape room. I'm going to make it fun. I'm going to make it playful with Jeopardy. Those are some ideas. You can even do memory games. You can think about like team games that people can play throughout the course from one lesson to another, so that there is a connection and seamless connection between one module, one chapter to the other. And then finally, what I'm going to do is also include a lot of what I call interactive elements, such as hotspots, tabs, or different sort of accordion style, where students can click and unlock different sort of lessons and clues about each lesson along the way. So if you think about it, I'm making this kind of learning experience a very not a very typical learning experience of PowerPoint and slides. I'm incorporating visuals, I'm incorporating interactive elements. I want to make videos very like TikTok-like or Snapchat-like that are really going to hold their attention. And I'm also going to make the videos short, because I know like my students and my learners are going to have very short attention span beyond like 5 minutes, and they're going to click away from the screen. And so with all that said, this is just a starting framework to help you build your online learning experience to be more intentional, to be more transformational, and to be more impactful. And so if you're watching this video, I'd love to ask you, what about this would you like to know more about? How would you like to see how this is applied in the actual course design process? And is this new? Is this familiar? Any kind of feedback that you have about how I could explain this better, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching this video, and I'll talk to you soon.